Welcome back, my friend. Today I want to talk to you. Not your perfect version, not your English test-taking version. Just you, the real one, the one who's trying, the one who wants to speak English, but still hesitates, the one who sometimes forgets a word in the middle of a sentence, the one who understands more than they can say, the one who wishes they could speak more naturally, more confidently, more effortlessly. If that's you, you are not alone. Millions of learners feel the same way. They study grammar, they memorize vocabulary, but when it's time to speak, they freeze, they panic, they go blank. Why? Because speaking English is not just about memory. It's about rhythm. It's about feeling. It's about confidence. It's about being okay with making mistakes and still continuing the conversation. And that's what this episode is all about. We're not going to talk about perfect English. We're going to talk about real English, spoken English, the kind that flows from your mouth without fear. The kind that sounds like you, just more fluent, more free, more alive. If you want that, you're in the right place. In this episode, I'll walk with you. I'll show you what effortless English speaking actually looks like. I'll teach you how to build it step by step, and I'll share real stories from learners who started just like you and learned to speak naturally. No pressure, no grammar charts, no big words, just one voice, one guide, and one mission to help you speak English like it's a part of you. Let's begin. Why speaking feels hard for many learners. Let's be honest. Speaking. English looks easy until it's your turn to speak. You understand the words, you know the grammar, you've been studying for months, maybe even years. But when someone asks you a question, your mind goes blank, your heart beats faster, you try to find the right words, but nothing comes out. Why does that happen? Why does speaking feel so hard, even when you've worked so hard to learn? Let me tell you, it's not because you're not smart, it's not because your memory is weak, and it's definitely not because you're not talented. Speaking feels hard because you were never taught how to practice it the right way. Most learners focus on input, reading, listening, grammar exercises. But speaking is output. It's a skill. And like any skill, it needs practice and the right kind of practice. Let's break it down. You're afraid of making mistakes. Let's start with the biggest reason. You're scared. Scared of being judged. Scared of sounding silly. Scared of making a mistake in front of someone else. I understand. I've seen learners with amazing English stay silent in real conversations because of fear. But here's the truth. If you want to speak effortlessly, you must accept this one fact. Mistakes are part of fluency. You don't become a better speaker by avoiding mistakes. You become better by making them, learning from them, and moving forward. Even native speakers make mistakes. They forget. They repeat themselves, they correct themselves mid-sentence. It's not about speaking perfectly. It's about speaking anyway. You don't practice speaking out loud. Here's another reason speaking feels hard. You practice in silence. You read quietly. You think about English in your head. You listen to podcasts, watch videos, take notes. All of that is good. But speaking is a physical activity. If you never move your mouth, how can you expect it to move smoothly in real life? Think of it like learning to play the piano. You can't just watch someone play. You have to sit down, touch the keys, and make sounds, even if they're wrong. Same with English. You have to open your mouth, speak out loud, even when you're alone, even when you're unsure, even when you feel silly, because practice builds comfort. Comfort builds confidence, and confidence leads to fluency. You don't have a speaking routine. Fluency doesn't come from one big practice session. It comes from small, consistent steps. But most learners don't have a speaking routine. They speak when they feel like. Once a week, once a month, only in class, only when forced. That's not enough. If you want to speak effortlessly, you need to train your mouth like you train your muscles. You don't go to the gym once a month and expect results. You go regularly, even for 15 minutes, even just to stay flexible. Your speaking practice needs the same. Just 10 minutes a day can change everything, if you do it consistently. You rely too much on thinking in your native language. Here's another reason it feels slow. You're still translating. You think in your native language first, then try to find the English words, then build the sentence, then speak. It's exhausting, it's slow, and it keeps you stuck. If you want effortless English, you have to train your brain to think in English. It's possible. And I'll show you how later in this episode. But for now, just know, the more you speak out loud in English, even to yourself, the more your brain gets used to the new rhythm. And slowly, thinking in English becomes natural. You're not speaking for communication. You're speaking for approval. Here's something most people never realize. When you speak English, are you trying to connect? Or are you trying to impress? If you're always trying to be perfect, to say the smartest word, to use advanced grammar, then you're not speaking to connect. You're performing, and performances are stressful. But when you speak to connect, to express a real idea, you relax. You focus on meaning, and you speak more naturally. Fluency is not about showing off, it's about showing up as your real self, using the words you know. You don't need fancy language. You need honest, simple, real English, the kind that comes from the heart. Let's reflect. Speaking English doesn't feel hard because you're not good enough. It feels hard because you've been carrying too much fear and not enough practice. So now take a moment. Let go of the pressure to be perfect. Let go of the need to impress. Let go of the fear of being judged. This is your time. This is your space. You're here to learn how to speak, not flawlessly, but freely. And you will. Starting now. Mindset shifts for natural speaking. Let's talk about mindset. Because before your mouth opens, your mind speaks first. If your thoughts are full of fear, pressure, and perfectionism, your words will struggle to flow. But if your thoughts are calm, curious, and open, your voice becomes free. So if you want to speak effortlessly, you don't just need practice. You need a new way of thinking. Here are the mindset shifts that can change the way you speak forever. Progress is more important than perfection. Most learners want to be perfect before they start speaking. But the truth is, you get better by speaking, not before speaking. You don't wait until your muscles are strong before you go to the gym. You go to the gym to get strong. Speaking works the same way. Every mistake is a step forward. Every awkward sentence is part of your progress. So change this thought from I need to speak perfectly to I need to speak consistently. That one shift will change everything. Speaking is a skill, not a talent. Many learners believe that speaking well is a gift, something natural, but it's not. Speaking is a skill, and all skills can be learned if you practice them the right way. Some people may learn faster, but no one is born fluent in a second language. So stop saying, I'm not good at speaking. Start saying, I'm still learning how to speak naturally. One is an excuse, the other is a door. Choose the door. Mistakes are a sign of growth. Imagine a child learning to walk. They fall, they wobble, they bump into things, but no one laughs at them. No one says, you're terrible at walking, because falling is part of walking. The same is true for speaking. You will make mistakes. You will forget words. You will say things that sound strange. Good. That means you're trying. That means your brain is growing. Mistakes are not failure. Mistakes are evidence of learning. Wear them with pride. Your voice matters. Even if it's not perfect, some learners stay quiet because they think their accent is wrong, or their grammar isn't good enough, or their vocabulary is too basic. But listen carefully, your voice matters. Even if you speak slowly, even if your sentences are simple, even if you pause to find the right word, you are still communicating. You are still learning. You are still showing up. And that takes courage. Never let fear silence your voice, because fluency doesn't come from silence. It comes from expression. 5. Don't try to sound native. Try to sound natural. A lot of learners say, I want to speak like a native speaker. That's okay. But here's something better. Don't try to sound native. Try to sound natural. Speak in a way that feels clear, calm, and comfortable. Use the words you know. Say them with confidence. Focus on being understood, not on being perfect. You don't need a perfect accent. You need real connection. That's what language is for. Let's reflect your thoughts shape your speaking. If you believe you're not ready, you won't speak. If you believe you need to be perfect, you'll feel stuck. But if you believe growth in small wins and showing up, your voice will grow stronger, one sentence at a time. So let's try a new belief right now. Say this to yourself. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to begin. That one sentence is more powerful than any grammar rule. Now that your mind is ready, let's move to practice. Daily speaking practice techniques. Now that you've made the mindset shift, it's time for action. Because confidence doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. And if you want to speak English effortlessly, you need to build a speaking habit. Not once a week, not only in class, but every single day. Even just for a few minutes. You don't need a partner. You don't need a classroom. You just need a plan that fits your life. Let me show you how. Here are daily speaking techniques that work, even if you're busy, shy, or learning alone. Talk to yourself. Every day, yes. You read that right. Talk to yourself. Not just in your head, but out loud. Describe what you're doing. Comment on your day. Speak your thoughts in English. For example, I'm making coffee. I like strong coffee in the morning. It helps me wake up. Or, I'm feeling tired today. Maybe I should sleep earlier tonight. It may feel strange at first, but this is how fluency begins, by turning your thoughts into sound. Start with 2 minutes a day, then 5, then 10. It's free. It's simple, and it works. Use the mirror technique. Stand in front of a mirror. Look at yourself. Speak clearly. Talk about your day. Practice an English phrase. Answer a question like you're in an interview. Watch your face. Notice your mouth movements. Get used to how English feels on your tongue. The mirror gives you feedback. It builds confidence. And it helps you see yourself as a speaker. Do it for 5 minutes. It's powerful. Shadow native speakers. This technique is called shadowing. You listen to a short clip, one sentence at a time, and repeat it immediately. Try to copy the rhythm, the tone, the pauses. You're not just repeating words. You're learning the music of English. Use YouTube videos, TED Talks, podcasts. Choose someone whose voice you enjoy. Listen, pause, repeat, again and again. Over time, their fluency becomes your fluency. Record yourself speaking. Use your phone. Open the voice recorder. Speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Talk about anything, your goals, your routine. What made you smile today? Then listen. Don't judge, just observe. You'll notice your mistakes. You'll hear your progress. And slowly, you'll sound more fluent every time. Recording is one of the most powerful tools, but most learners avoid it. Don't be one of them. Your voice is not something to hide. It's something to grow. Ask yourself 1 question a day and answer it. Start a question journal. Every day, write down 1 simple question in English. What did I do today? What am I grateful for? What's my favorite food? What do I want to learn? Then answer it out loud. This gives your speaking purpose. It connects English to your real life. And it trains your brain to speak with emotion, not just information. Use the 1 minute, 1 topic rule. Set a timer for 1 minute. Choose a topic. My morning routine. My best friend. My favorite book. Why I want to speak English. Then speak for 1 minute. No stopping, no writing, no thinking too much. Just speak. This builds fluency. And over time, you'll speak longer. With less fear. Create a speaking zone at home. Choose one place at home. A corner, a chair, a desk. Make it your English zone. Every time you sit there, speak English. Even if it's just a few words. This simple routine creates a habit. Your brain will start to associate that space with speaking, and fluency will become more natural. Let's reflect. You don't need a perfect situation to practice. You just need a real reason and a simple method. So ask yourself, Can I speak to myself for 2 minutes today? Can I record one voice message? This week? Can I shadow one video this weekend? Small steps, daily steps, that's what builds effortless speaking. Practice doesn't need to be hard. It just needs to be consistent. And now you know how to do that every single day. Real-life stories from learners. Sometimes, the best way to learn is to listen to someone who's walked the path before you. Someone who struggled. Someone who doubted. Someone who made progress. One sentence at a time. So in this part of the episode, I want to tell you a few real-life stories. Stories of learners like you, ordinary people, different ages, different countries, but all with one dream, to speak English naturally. And they did, not because they were special, but because they practiced with courage and never gave up. Story 1. The quiet student who became a confident guide. Her name was Amina. She lived in a small town where almost no one spoke English. She learned from books, she passed her tests, but every time she had to speak and even one sentence, she froze. She was afraid of her accent, afraid of being laughed at, so she stayed quiet. Until one day she heard someone say this sentence, "Fluency begins where fear ends." She wrote it down, hung it above her desk. Then she started speaking to herself every morning, just 2 minutes, then 5, then 10. She began watching English vlogs and shadowing them. She recorded her voice once a week. She didn't feel fluent at first, but she felt free. 6 months later, she joined a local tourism group. Now, she helps visitors in English, confidently and kindly, not because her English is perfect, but because she's no longer afraid. Story 2. The busy father who practiced in the car. Carlos was a full-time worker and a father of 2. He had no time for English class, but he had a dream, to apply for a job that required fluent English speaking. His biggest challenge wasn't vocabulary, it was time. So he created a simple routine. Every day during his 30-minute drive to work, he practiced speaking. No lessons, no apps, just him and his voice. He picked a topic each day, spoke out loud in the car, reflected on his day, his work, his family, all in English. 3 months later, he recorded himself. And for the first time, he didn't hate the sound of his voice. 6 months later, he passed the interview. And now, he says, speaking in English feels natural, not because of a classroom, but because of his car conversations. Story 3. The teenager who turned her mirror into a mentor. Lena was a high school student with big dreams. She wanted to study abroad, but every time she tried to speak English in class, her face turned red, so she stopped trying. She told herself, "I'll never be good at speaking." Then one day she watched a video about mirror speaking. She laughed. It seemed silly, but she tried it 1 minute a day, then 5, then 10. She made eye contact with herself. She practiced common phrases. She imagined she was in a real conversation. And slowly, something changed. She didn't just improve her English, she improved her confidence. That mirror didn't show her mistakes. It showed her growth. Now she's preparing for her international scholarship exam and practicing every speech in front of the same mirror because she finally believes in her voice. Story 4. The retired man who found his second voice. Mr. Tanaka was 65 years old when he decided to learn English. Most people said, "It's too late." He smiled and replied, "I'm not done growing." He didn't want to write essays. He didn't want exams. He just wanted to speak. So he made a simple, promise one English video a day, one short speech out loud after watching. Sometimes he talked about his garden. Sometimes he talked about his past. His sentences were short. His words were simple, but every word came from the heart. 1 year later, he gave a short speech in English at his grandson's school. Everyone clapped. Not because he sounded native, but because he sounded alive. These are not professional speakers. They are people, like you, busy, shy, unsure. But they kept showing up. They used small moments to practice. They spoke, even when their voices trembled. And that made all the difference. You don't need a perfect plan, you need a real reason, a real voice, real desire. And if they could do it, you can too. Simple phrases that unlock fluency. Let me ask you something. When you speak English, do you try to build long, complicated sentences? Many learners do. They want to sound smart. They want to use every word they know. But instead, they get stuck. They hesitate. They lose confidence. Here's the truth. Fluency doesn't begin with big words. It begins with small phrases. Simple, useful, repeatable. These short expressions are the keys to effortless English. They build rhythm. They buy you time. They keep the conversation going. Let me show you how. Here are some easy phrases you can practice and use every day. 1. Let me think for a second. This is a powerful phrase. Why? Because when you forget a word, most people panic. They feel pressure to speak fast. But this phrase gives you a pause. Instead of silence, you speak with confidence. Try it. What's your favorite movie? Let me think for a second. Probably The Lion King. It shows that you're calm, that you're in control, and it buys you time to find your next words. That's a good question. This one is perfect in conversations or interviews. It gives you a moment to breathe, and it makes your answer feel thoughtful. Example. What do you love about your job? That's a good question. I think it's the people. Short. Natural. Fluent. 3. I'm not sure how to say it in English, but this phrase gives you freedom. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to explain. Try this. I'm not sure how to say it in English, but it's like when you miss someone and feel a little sad. You're communicating, and that's the real goal. You know what I mean? This helps check understanding without pressure. It also makes your speech more interactive. Example. Sometimes I feel tired after too much small talk, you know what I mean? It's a soft way to connect, and it makes your English sound more natural. 5. For example, this is your helper phrase. Use it to explain, to continue, to give details. Example. I enjoy quiet hobbies. For example, I like reading and painting. It keeps the sentence flowing. No grammar stress. Just clear. Connection. So what I mean is, let's say you said something, and now you want to explain more. This phrase helps you do that without restarting the whole sentence. Try this. Sometimes I feel stuck. What I mean is, I know what I want to say, but the words don't come out. It shows your listener that you're thinking, and that makes you sound thoughtful, not nervous. Kind of, sort of. These phrases make your English sound more relaxed. They soften your words. Example. Do you like spicy food? Kind of, not too much. They're short, easy, real. To be honest, and this one adds emotion, it shows that you're opening up. Example. To be honest, I was nervous to speak at first, but now I enjoy it. It adds rhythm, and it makes your English more personal. Practice tip, take these phrases, write them down, say each one out loud 5 times. Then use them in a sentence from your own life. You'll be surprised how quickly your speaking becomes smoother. These phrases are small, but they unlock big confidence, because the goal is not to speak like a textbook. The goal is to speak like clearly, calmly, and with meaning. How to keep improving without fear. Let's talk about something we all feel on this journey. Doubt. You begin learning English. You practice. You make progress. But then one day, you feel stuck, you forget words, you get nervous, you hear someone else speak better than you, and you start comparing. You think, maybe I'm not improving. Maybe I'll never be fluent. Maybe I should give up. If you've ever felt that, please know this, you are not alone. Every learner has these thoughts. Even the most confident speakers, even the teachers, even the native speakers learning a new language. But the ones who grow are the ones who don't stop. So how do you keep improving? And even when you feel afraid, tired, or slow, let me show you. Focus on the process, not just the result. Fluency is not a finish line. It's not a trophy you win one day. It's a journey. Some days you'll feel great. Some days you'll feel stuck. But if you keep showing up, speaking, practicing, listening, learning, then you are improving. Progress is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, like when you say something without translating, like when you understand a new phrase, like when you finally enjoy speaking. That's growth. Celebrate it. 2. Track your small wins every week. Write down 3 small things. 1 new phrase you used. 1 moment you understood more than before. 1 time you spoke, even if it wasn't perfect. This habit builds confidence, because sometimes we forget how far we've come until we stop and look back. Speak even when you don't feel ready. This is the key. You don't wait to feel confident. You build confidence by speaking. Speak when you're unsure. Speak when you make mistakes. Speak when your voice is shaking. Every time you speak, you plant a seed. And those seeds grow, slowly, silently, beautifully. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait. You are ready now. Surround yourself with English, not just for learning but for living. Change your phone language. Listen to English music. Watch shows in English. Read simple books. Join groups. Talk to people. Make English part of your daily world, so it feels natural, so it becomes yours. When English becomes familiar and speaking becomes effortless, be kind to yourself. You are learning something beautiful, something that takes courage, something that many people are too afraid to try. So when you make a mistake, don't punish yourself. When you forget a word, don't give up. When you feel shy, don't disappear. Speak to yourself with the same kindness you'd give a friend. Say things like, "I'm still learning and that's okay. I did my best today." Every word I speak brings me closer to fluency. That voice inside you matters. Make it gentle. Make it encouraging. Make it yours. Final reflection for this section: you don't need to be fearless. You just need to be brave enough to try. And every time you open your mouth to speak English, you are being brave. So keep going. Keep practicing. Keep growing. Because fluency doesn't come all at once. It comes 1 sentence at a time. And your next sentence could be the one that changes everything. Final reflection and motivation. Take a slow breath with me. You've walked through this entire journey, from fear to freedom, from hesitation to hope, from silence to speaking. You've listened. You've reflected. And now it's time to believe. Believe in your ability. Believe in your voice. Believe that speaking English clearly, naturally, confidently is not a dream. It's a direction. And you are already on the path. Let's remember what you've learned. You don't need perfect grammar to speak. You need brave practice. You don't need advanced words. You need simple phrases spoken with purpose. You don't need someone else's accent. You need your voice, spoken with confidence. You don't need more pressure. You need more daily practice, with kindness, not judgment. You don't need to rush. You need to stay consistent. And most of all, you don't need to wait until you feel fluent to begin speaking. You begin speaking now, and that's how fluency comes. So from today, promise yourself this: I will practice every day, even for 5 minutes. I will speak, even if I make mistakes. I will keep going because this journey matters. Because here's something powerful to remember. Every time you speak English, you are doing more than using a language. You are building your confidence. You are building your courage. You are opening doors to new jobs, new friends, new experiences. You are growing. And that growth is beautiful. It may not always be fast. It may not always be easy. But it will always be worth it, because the moment you speak, even 1 word from your heart, you connect with the world. You connect with yourself. And that is powerful. So wherever you are listening from, whether you're a student, a parent, a worker, or a dreamer, know this: your voice matters. Your story matters. And your English journey is just getting started. You don't need to be fluent to be proud. You just need to keep going. And I believe you will. Thank you for listening to Daily English Podcast. If this episode helped you, share it with someone who needs encouragement. We rise by lifting each other. And remember, speak slowly, speak bravely, speak every day. You're not just learning English, you're becoming your best self. One sentence at a time. Until next time, take care, keep practicing, and keep speaking naturally.